Top of the morning to you. Just getting in here, wrapping up, getting my gear set up, circling back on a project that I had to sort of abandon at some point. I'm realizing that making these videos takes a ton of work, and a lot of them I'm making at the cost of my own production in my studio and the momentum that I'm getting of learning to become a better recording engineer and mix engineer and recording artist, all of these things that I want this channel to be based on. So moving forward, we're gonna be doing a ton of that. So I'm getting set up. I've got my station set up. All the amps are up here. There's cabs mic'd up in the back. Got all the electric guitars here. I'm starting to work on a song called People Get Ready right now. I'm gonna let you guys listen to that very, very soon, at least a taste of it. Maybe at the end of this video, maybe not. I don't know, but that's not what we're here to talk about this morning. I got a text from a buddy of mine the other day wanting some feedback on some pictures he sent me from a local music store with some all-in-one PA systems, and it got me thinking about when I first had to buy my first PA 30 years ago, what that process was like, and trying to figure out what my needs were, what a realistic, reasonable budget was, and how am I going to get something that's going to last me, something I can grow into. So I thought, let me help the homie get a new PA system set up. If you're a singer-songwriter and you are looking to play some gigs, maybe you've got some private parties going on, maybe you are somebody that's just getting in the game, you don't even know what your needs are as it relates to having a PA or a sound system, this is going to be a big help to you. So stay tuned. All right, so the first thing I think we should discuss, what is a reasonable budget for a decent PA, a starter PA? Especially if you're just getting started, you're probably not making any money playing gigs. Maybe you got some gigs on the horizon and you intend to make it back, but you gotta try to stay as frugal as possible if you don't have the funds, right? So you could go the used route, buying somebody else's used problems, and there are certainly things to buy used, and there are things to maybe avoid buying used. Warranties can benefit you in a lot of electronics scenarios when you're buying. When I bought my first PA, 1996 maybe, it's crazy to think about. But the way that things were back then, most of the mixers were powered and the speakers were passive, meaning they did not have power. Today, you're gonna see that flip-flop. You're gonna find most of the mixers are passive and most of the speakers are powered. That makes them more efficient. It makes it a little easier to narrow in and figure out really how much power you need, how many inputs you need, what your strategy is for how you're going to use this system. And then the mixers are passive, but one thing the mixers have now, which they did not have in years past, is a lot of functionality, a lot of effects built in. Many of them have compression included. Many of them have auxiliary sends, so that you have monitor mixes, so that you are able to get a decent monitor mix if you're playing even on a patio for a happy hour, or if you're playing at a club. To me, that's a big thing. All right, first let's talk about budget. If you just look at what the market is today and what things cost today, if you want to get a decent PA sound system that you can grow into, I think $1,000 is a very reasonable budget for you to set for yourself. If that's too much, maybe save up for that, because I really do think that is the entry point that you should be looking at. And what you're going to get for that $1,000 is likely 2 powered loudspeakers, a mixer, your stands for the speakers, maybe some mic stands, some cables for everything. And if it were me, I would definitely carve out some budget to find some padded cases or covers, something to protect your investment. If you don't do that, my voice is gonna be nagging in your ear probably a year from now, wishing you had. All right, so you got $1,000 to spend. The next consideration is how much power do you need out of your PA? And that's a pretty easy question to answer. As much as you can get. Because ultimately, you don't want something that is underpowered, even if it gets the job done, where you've gotta push as much power as you can, which is probably gonna leave you with the quality of the sound. It's gonna be distorted and pushed and not You want to be sitting at about mid power where those PA speakers are pumping, but really crystal clear and never being pushed to their limits. So the more power that you can get, the better. I would try to find something that's bi-amped with a max power of like 1,000 watts. 1,000 watts is going to get you all the power that you need and then some. And something, again, that is going to be versatile for you depending on what your needs are. You can always turn that speaker down and get less out of it. If you're in an intimate environment and need it to barely be on, you can do that. But if you need to put it out in a field and play a fraternity party, you can crank it up and still get what you need out of it. All right, so that's the wattage of the speakers. Now we need to talk about the weight, because that's a big consideration. Something that's powered is going to have a built-in, at least one amplifier in the back of it. And when powered loudspeakers first came out, they were 60, 70, 80 pounds. I don't even remember. I just remember that every time I grabbed a hold of one, my back hurt. But now, things have changed quite dramatically. Depending on what size driver you're going to get, a 10-inch driver to say a 15-inch driver, the weight of that speaker could vary from 25 pounds to 40 pounds, but coming from 70 pounds, that's a huge, huge achievement. So I'd be trying to get something that is as light as possible, something that is as powerful as possible, something that's going to have sort of in the middle in terms of the size of a driver. I'd probably go with a 12 if I was just starting out today, something that's going to give you enough low end where if you need to put bass guitar or maybe a kick drum in it, you can still get the roundness to give you what you need for your bass response, but that also is going to be in the sweet spot for the things that you're probably going to use it for. Acoustic guitars, piano, vocals. A 12 is going to sit right there in that mid-range. It's going to give you exactly what you want. All right, so 12-inch speaker, 1,000 watts, something that's light. And then ultimately you want something that is absolutely reliable. And this is where it gets tricky. You can spend as much money as you want. We're going to go to my office here in a few minutes and hop on Sweetwater and just compare some options and talk about what makes most sense for my buddy. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to recommend for him. And I'd love your feedback. If you have some thoughts on this, meet me in the comments. If you have any questions, if you're in the process of purchasing your first PA and you'd like some help, I bet I could help. So just drop me a comment. I'll meet you there. Ultimately, if you're trying to stay within a budget, you need to look at budget products, budget lines, things like Behringer makes amazing budget-friendly stuff. They just do. They've gotten a bad rap over the years, but in the last several years, they have proven that the quality of their products have greatly improved, but also they stand the test of time. When you need them to work, they usually do. So you can't go wrong with Behringer. That's probably where I'm going to start in that world because I've had a lot of great experience with Behringer. And if you've been watching this channel, you know that we reviewed the QSE K series. I've got a set of K10.2s that I absolutely love. I've got some JBL PRX 615s that are kind of the bigger powered loudspeakers that just absolutely crush. But those speakers are crazy expensive for somebody that's just starting out. And before you invest a bunch of money into expensive loudspeakers, you probably should start with some less expensive ones to get some time, some experience listening to them, and develop your own list of the things that you want out of your PA. So we're going to look at the Behringer stuff. We're going to look at maybe some other stuff that might be comparable to the Behringer stuff. I'm going to reach out to my rep at Sweetwater, Mike Wright. Big shout out to Mike Wright. He is always there to help me sort out what's going to give me the best value. If you don't do business with Sweetwater, you probably should. This video is not sponsored by Sweetwater, but I will say the great thing about Sweetwater is having a rep that has a lot of knowledge and access to a team of people who can answer any question that you might have regarding any of your music gear. So the next thing we need to talk about is a mixer. What do we want out of a mixer? So we know that the speaker is going to be doing the heavy lifting of all the power, and we've got $1,000 to spend. So maybe we end up spending $500 on speakers. Maybe that's a decent budget to set. And for a mixer, we want to spend maybe half of that or less. And what I would recommend getting out of a mixer, regardless of what your needs are right now, if you're just somebody who is playing acoustic guitar and you've got a patio happy hour gig and you think you only need 2 inputs, I would say get a mixer that you are going to be able to grow into, because you don't know what your needs are going to be down the road. Maybe you have some success with these gigs that are coming up, and before you know it, you're getting hired to play full band stuff at parties or doing corporates where you need more inputs, you need more power, you need more. So look for something that has at least 6 XLR inputs, something that's going to have a somewhat flexible EQ per channel, but also a mixer that's going to have an overall EQ where you can deal with issues in whatever room, whatever environment you're in overall when you're using it. I would also absolutely look for something that's got built-in effects in it, because a little bit of reverb goes a long way and can add a lot of production value to your shows when you're playing live. Lastly, I would find something that has at least 1 send or a monitor mix, because you might be in a scenario, if you aren't familiar with what a monitor mix is, if you're sitting behind the speakers that are facing the audience at the gig that you're playing, and you're playing acoustic guitar and you're singing, what you're going to hear is going to sound very muffled, and it's not going to be a true representation of what your voice sounds like when you're singing. It's going to drive you crazy. So to have either a side fill where you're going to kick one of those speakers kind of to the side and let it shoot across you so you can hear what your inflection sounds like as you come, toward and back off that microphone. Or if you have a wedge, another speaker on the ground, it's going to be greatly to your benefit. If you can have an extra speaker, maybe you set one as a main, one as a monitor, you can set those separately where the monitor is going to give you just what you want. Just the right amount of guitar that you want in that speaker, just the right amount of vocals in that speaker, right amount of keys in that speaker, and then what you set out front might be a perfect blend where what you need isn't a perfect blend coming out of it, because maybe you need more guitar in your mix than what you want the audience to necessarily hear. Something that's going to give you some flexibility and some room to grow, because as you get started, if you take off, the last thing that you want to do is spend $1,000 on a PA, and then in 6 months you've got to spend another $1,000 on a PA and sell the PA that you have to get something that meets your needs, because you bought something that was an all-in-one package deal at your local music store that somebody who knows nothing about sound systems and doesn't play gigs convinced you would meet your needs. So that's what I told my buddy, and that is what I'm telling you. Now we've established the criteria, we're going to go in here into my office and pull up the Sweetwater website, and I'm going to put a gear list together and send it to my rep to see what he can do on it and see if he has any recommendations on things that might be a better fit, knowing what he knows. So I'll meet y'all in the office. All right, so I've got the Sweetwater site pulled up. My rep has asked me not to share his pricing, so I want to respect his wishes. And to respect your time, I've already gone and done some research on the Sweetwater site using their filters. Even if you don't intend to do business with Sweetwater, I can't think of a reason why you shouldn't leverage their website to go do your research. You can filter things in a way that make it very easy. I just filtered by price and by speaker size for the loudspeakers, narrowed it down to a set of Behringers and these Alto TX312 power loudspeakers, a recommendation from my rep. And I think these are gonna get it. These are $209 each. They're 700 watts. They're just under 30 pounds a piece. Gonna go with the Behringer Xenex 1222 USB mixer. This mixer is gonna give us 6 balanced XLR microphone inputs, 12 overall inputs, so a lot of flexibility if you need more inputs on a gig. It's going to give us a monitor send, which we want. It's got a 3-band EQ on each one of the channels. It's got effects built into the channel. It's got built-in compression on 4 of the channels and an overall 7-band EQ. Also, we're going with the Sweetwater branded Proco EXM 20 Exalines mic cables. This is a 5-pack of 20-foot cables. These are the mic cables that I use, and it's a deal, $155 for 5 quality 20-foot cables. And then on recommendation from my rep, we're gonna go with the Jam Stands JS S550 tripod speaker stands. A total of $931.99 before tax. Again, he asked me not to share his pricing, so I'm not gonna do that. I am gonna link his contact info in the description though. I'll tell you that overall, He's saving my buddy over $100 just by reaching out to see if he has any wiggle room and what his best pricing was. This PA right here is going to give you a whole lot for under $1,000 and still leave you some meat on the bone to buy things that you may realize that you need, you hadn't thought about. Things like extra cables to connect iPods or gaff tape, or, you know, another mic stand or another microphone that you might need. If you need microphones, I would absolutely get a Shure SM58 or Shure SM57. I'd look on Facebook Marketplace or Reverb to see what kind of deals you can find, because you can probably get one for under $100 there. If you were bundling these, it would be a great option to include it in the bundle to see what kind of pricing you can get on that to get a new one. Try to cut corners where you can, but spend the money wisely. Also, get some cases, get some covers, protect your investment. You'll be glad you did. That's gonna be our video for today. If you're brand new to the channel, I'd like to invite you to look around, check out some of the other videos I've got. There's a bunch of stuff on here. And if you made it this far, hit that like button for me. It helps with the algorithm. And if you're feeling froggy, hit that subscribe button and turn your notifications on so you get notified when these videos come out. Until next time, I am Justin Brogdon, and I will be seeing you soon. Peace.